And good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Ralph Williams One on One. It's great to be here on this Friday at noontime sharp here today. And I know the weather might be a little nippy out there, but we're going to warm you up real nice with this show today. The sun's out, and let's get this show warmed up a little bit more. Don't forget tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. Sports Corner with myself and Smoking Jim Frazier on PCTV Channel 21 Comcast 47 Verizon Cable and on PCTV's Facebook page. And please don't forget about our schedule change. Mondays, the way I see it, has been moved to Sunday at 7 p.m. Sunday at 7 p.m. right here live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And guess what? We're moving on more platforms here, everybody. So this show and all my other shows to RW Media are getting to be where they need to be. My guest this afternoon on Ralph Williams 101 is local drummer Kay Ballard. Kay, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, buddy. How you doing, Ralph?
Oh, I'm doing real good, thank you. Kay, I had you on my show on PCTV, the way I see it, about a year ago. And what I wanted to ask you was, tell the audience here a little bit about yourself. I know you've drummed in the past down in California for Snoop Dogg and for Stevie Wonder, and have done some stuff. Tell everybody how that worked out.
Well, everything worked out well. I mean, before I moved to California, I was born and raised in St. Louis, and I went to Indiana University School of Music in Bloomington, Indiana. Once I graduated from there, I worked at General Motors to save money, bought equipment, a nice van, and headed out to California. And, I really finagled my way into some musical situations. Some people approached me, like with Stevie Wonder. I used to see his music director and bassist, Nate Watts, at 10 Pesos, this club where Tower Power Rhythm Section used to have jam sessions. And while later I played with them also. But one night, we talked, Nate and I, and then one night after the performance was over with, I heard him mention that Stevie would be looking for another drummer soon. So I ran over to him and gave him my card and said, please call me. And he gave me his number. And I called him about 3 times a week until he got really annoyed with me.
Well, you know what they say, Kay, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, that's right. So he was like, "Don't worry. I'm gonna call you." Okay. So it was a Friday night, and I was this friend of mine, Chuck Morris, a drummer formerly with Cameo and a few other great groups. He was playing on the Arsenio Hall show, and we became good friends. I would hang out at the Arsenio Hall show a lot. During the run through and all that kind of good stuff. So the Arsenio band was performing somewhere that Friday night, and my hair was longer, and it was, and so I was combing my hair in the mirror, and that's the last thing I do before I walk out the house. And my phone rang about 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, who's calling me Friday night at 10? It's not about a performance tonight, but maybe about tomorrow, who knows? So let me go answer the phone. Being a musician, you have to answer the phone when you get the call, because if you don't answer, sometimes they'll just move on.
They will leave messages.
Okay. I understand, I had an answering machine and everything like that, but still, if you don't know if the person is out of town or if they're, just not available, sick, so if they don't answer, you just go on to the next person. You can leave a message, but anyway, I answered the phone and it was Nate. He said, "Hey, Kai," he always called me Kai, and I'm like, I knew, he was calling me about Stevie.
Right.
But he said, can I be at the studio? Well, Stevie wants me to be at the studio at 11:30. Can I be there? And I said, well, if studio is in China, I could be there in an hour and a half. No problem. I don't care where it is. But it turned out it was just 10 minutes from my house. So I got there, no problem. And went from there. It was a pleasure playing with them and hanging out with them and him telling me jokes, sometimes. And the staff was great. The food was great. The music was great. So that's how I kind of landed that gig. And it was kind of depressing when I got the call that Stevie got his old drummer back, Dennis Davis, and great drummer, great guy. He's no longer with us, but yeah, Dennis was phenomenal.
That's great.
And then, and then with the Snoop gig on Saturday Night Live, I went to a Steve Gadd clinic, and a lady named Janine Gardner was sitting in front of me. And later, about 6 months, I started working. Well, I was working temporary at Coldwell Banker, and my
Oh,
first
okay.
day, yeah, because I worked temporary also in LA sometimes. You know, when I didn't, yeah, when I didn't want to play, it's
Right.
like I didn't want to play. Like sometimes I got tired of playing. Like I would go out of town and play for about 6 months or a year, and after that, I want to take a break. You know, and so on my first day at Coldwell Banker, there was Janine. I said, "Hey, you were at the Steve Gadd clinic," and she was like, "Yeah, I was." And she's a drummer. I'm a drummer, so we started hanging out and became really great friends. And at each other's houses for jam sessions, the parks, or the beach. And so about I don't know, a year later, something like that, I was in Japan performing over there. Checked my messages, and she left a message that she was having a jam session at her house. This was in January.
Okay.
Could I make it this weekend? I called her back. Said, no, I'm in Japan. I'll be back end of February, 1st of March. I'll call you. So I got back in town. I didn't call her. I didn't answer my phone for 3 days. I was jet lagged. I was pretty tired. And so one Tuesday, no, Monday, I think, something like that, Monday, Tuesday. The phone, no, Tuesday, the phone rang and I started not to answer, but I said, I haven't answered the phone in 3 days, so let me get started, because I'm in really good shape now. I've
Right.
been playing so much in Japan. I'm ready to keep going. So, so answered the phone. It was Janine, and she had auditioned for Snoop. She didn't get the gig, but she recommended me because I had previously toured with LL Cool J a few years before.
Right.
And so they called me down, negotiated a time for me to be there. Uh, I couldn't be there exactly when they wanted, and but we negotiated the time, and it was so cool, Ralph. I mean, honestly, when I was in the shower, I was thinking, golly, because at the time, Snoop was the absolute #1 rap artist in the world,
Oh,
and
yeah. Oh,
he just come out with
absolutely.
Gin and Juice and everything, and
Right. Oh, that Gin and
um,
Juice song. I'll tell you what. I know. I've played that song many times. I love that song. That's one of my favorites from him. Is Gin and Juice.
yeah, it's a great song.
It is.
Snoop's pretty smooth, and so I was in the shower, and I said, I can't believe it that the band for the #1 rap artist in the world is waiting for me. But all the drummers that could have been, they're waiting for me. So I got there. They played the drum track for Gin and Juice, a Lottie Dottie. I played them. They said, "Can you leave tomorrow?" I said, "I can leave right now." You know, and so we left the next day for New York, and so yeah, that worked out really, really well. That was a phenomenal gig, phenomenal performance. The band was top professional. I had a lot of fun. I seen a few friends while I was there too. So that's how that worked out. And that's an LL Cool J. I got called for that.
Oh,
Just
great.
got the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was on the Budweiser tour.
Oh.
There was
Okay.
us. There was us, Whitney Houston, uh, BBD, Digital Underground, Keith Sweat, Ralph
Wow.
Tresvant. Yeah,
And
it
I'm
kind of
the
varied.
underground.
Yeah, yeah.
The
It
Humpty
kind of
Dance.
varied
I'm
here
the
and there.
underground.
And then Bone Thugs and Harmony, I recorded their last CD, The World's Enemy. I did about 8 tracks on that CD. Um, I got that gig because I was working at Wells Fargo, and the producer would come in, and people said, "Hey, he's a producer, Kate. You should talk to him." So I finally did, and next thing you know, I was in the studio with Bone Thugs,
Wow, that's
and
great.
yeah, so it worked out well. I mean, I have a bunch of other gigs like Rude Awakening.
Whoa,
It was great playing with them. I did a CD with them and a bunch of performances with
great.
Reese Wilkins, and played with some churches there also, like North Hollywood Baptist Church, Cochran Avenue Baptist Church, Mickey Howard, Gene Carn, Crystal Penny, um, the Coasters, Hank Miller, the
Wow.
Midnighters, which we call Crystal, which I'm going to say Ralph Williams, which Randy Jackson wrote their first hit song,
Yeah.
Passion from a
Okay.
Woman.
Yeah, I know
Then I
Randy
worked,
Jackson. Yeah.
yeah. Then I worked at Capitol Records
Mm-hmm.
in marketing for on the Paul McCartney Back in the U.S. tour, and I got that from taking an A&R course at UCLA,
Okay.
which Randy was an instructor, and also Barry Squire was an instructor.
Wow.
And once I finished the course for about 3 months, then this temp agency called me and they said, "Are
Right.
you looking for anything?" I said, "Well, I just finished this A&R course, and so I'm getting ready to look for some work at a label." They said, "Oh, wow! Well, we have a position at Capitol Records. We got a position at Capitol Records." So I said, "Really?" They said, "Yeah, I'm working in marketing for a couple of vice presidents there." And that was fun. That was a lot of fun. This
Wow.
my first day, I got to my desk, and there were there's no stationery, no pens and pencils. And
Whoa.
I asked the lady, I said, "You have any stuff I can write with or blah blah blah?" She said, "I'm not sure, but if you look at that closet right over there." I said, "Okay." Open the closet door, Ralph. The only thing in the closet were two cases of Heineken. And I said, "Okay, well, I take one of these, but I still need a pen." But it was interesting. It was interesting working there. The label, I could. This is not a put down. I completely understand. But while I was there, I never heard anything about music. Everything was about demographics, geographics, and sales. Like even on the Paul McCartney tour, I would talk to Paul's manager the day of the show, um, mostly about merchandising, radio giveaways, things like that. Sometimes he would mention to me the set list. There would be some changes in the set list. I don't know why, but he would mention that to me. But I'd say, okay. I remember the show averaged about 33 songs in a
Hmm.
show.
Right.
That's a lot.
Oh, it is a
That's a
lot of
lot.
songs. Yes.
That's a lot of songs. 33 shows. Yeah, 33
32
songs. So
songs. Yeah. Hey, what is
yeah.
a song
So
set anyway, Kay? A song set, what, or a musical set for a band's usually what, about 90 minutes?
it depends.
Okay.
It depends. It could go. It could be 25 minutes. It could
Oh,
be. It
okay.
could be 2 hours. It
Well, I
depends.
know that, yeah, but I mean, the average set goes for what, about 90 minutes?
For a big concert, like a big tour, like at PPG Arena, like Paul McCartney or somebody like
Right.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, at least an hour and a half, at least.
Yeah, I've been
Usually,
to a
yeah,
lot
at
of
least hour and a
shows,
half.
and most of the time the sets, especially if they have like two, three band or three, four bands together, usually they're about 90
Hmm.
minutes, and some of them are even shorter. I mean, I've seen Night Ranger where Night Ranger would play for an hour and a half and do a whole set, and then I saw them with two other bands, and they only played for 45 minutes. So it depends on what the schedule is of the other bands and everything, and how long their sets are. I would imagine. So
Yeah.
I have a
Hey,
question.
Ralph.
Yes,
y-
Kay.
y- can you see my face?
No, I cannot. No,
Okay, cool. So I
no.
can put the phone down.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. We're on the phone. We're not. Yeah, we're not
Okay,
live. We're
cool.
on the phone.
Okay.
Anyway, one thing I wanted to ask you, Kay, is one question here. Did you ever play at the Roxy or the Troubadour?
Yeah, I played the Troubadour for a David Geffen party,
Okay.
and if you're not familiar with David Geffen, he's a very high profile music producer. I think he owned a label, Geffen Records.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty big. And you mentioned the Troubadour. And where else?
And the Roxy.
Yeah, I played at the Roxy with Crystal. I played at the Whiskey with Rude
Yeah.
Awakening.
I forgot about the whiskey. I knew about the
Yeah,
Troubadour and the Roxy, and I forgot about the whiskey.
yeah, I played at the Whiskey with Rude Awakening.
Great.
I played at the Coconut Tea with Reese's Pieces a bunch of times, the Mixed Company, and on the strip. Let's see what else. I played at the Roxbury
Mm-hmm.
every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think it was, with a gentleman named Roy Gaines.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, that was yeah, it was strip playing there. It was nice. Roxbury was extremely popular then. Paparazzi everywhere outside, and a zillion people trying to get in, and a lot of high-profile people inside. Um, that was fun. I met a lot of nice people that were high-profile,
That's
and
great.
yeah, It was cool.
That's
You
great.
know.
You're watching Ralph Williams one-on-one. My guest by phone is Kay Ballard. Kay Ballard is a local drummer here in Pittsburgh, and we're talking with him today in regards to his career in drumming. I know that he's talked with us about how he drummed for Stevie Wonder, for Snoop Dogg, and some others down in L.A. In Pittsburgh here, Kay, I know you were drumming with the Needs Hotel Band, and I know you're drumming for Kenny Blake. Is there anyone else you're drumming with right now?
Well, let me tell you, Ralph. When I first moved here 10 years ago, June 22nd, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after, I started playing for the church that we belong to, Eastminster
Right.
Presbyterian Church.
Right.
And then the first band I started playing with was a Mike Sear band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay.
We had a lot of fun. We played just mainly festivals. So, it was a lot of fun. Then after that, I played with Craig King, Nicole Belly, the Nice Hotel Band, of course,
Mm-hmm.
which was a lot of fun. The Marcells, which was
Right. Oh,
great.
wow. I bet
Which
that
was
was a great show.
I mean, yeah, I played with them like all last year. We would
Oh,
play like
wow.
At the Benedum, the Palace, the Legacy. Um, I can't remember the other places, but like we did doo-wop shows. Like we did one show with Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Yes. Yes.
Woo!
Little Anthony. Yes.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal show. Little Anthony sounded so great. Had a phenomenal band. Then I've also played with Kenny Blake, as you mentioned, all last year. I love playing with Kenny. He's a wonderful guy and great musician.
Oh, yeah.
I've also, I've played with so many people
Mm-hmm.
here that it's something that kind of slipped my mind. So don't get mad.
That's okay. That's all right. Hey, you know what?
No, I
There's
mean,
nothing wrong with that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, the people that play, I don't want them to say, "Oh, you didn't mention us." I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry,
That's
but
okay. Hey, you know
yeah,
what?
but
I forget names and things and stuff that I've done over the years, and it just sometimes it slips my mind, and then once later on, you're like, "Oh, now I remember." It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
and yeah, those things happen a lot. So
And
anyway,
I would tell you that also, no offense against the musicians in LA, but when people move to LA, a lot of people when they go there to get into the music business as a performer or a composer or something,
right,
especially performers, they come out there to get a record deal. So they're not concerned about their musicianship that much.
right,
Not that they were not good musicians, they're okay. But in
hmm,
Pittsburgh, like in St. Louis, people here, they just have they really care about their musicianship and they practice hard and they sound great. I mean, there's every musician I've heard in Pittsburgh is great.
absolutely.
Everyone. I mean, I've heard so many I actually play with Calvin Stimley, also a phenomenal saxophonist. Um, um, yeah, but everyone I've heard, everyone I see, they're just great musicians.
Oh yeah,
I,
yeah, absolutely. We
pe-
have some great local talent here. Like the Clarks, they made it to Saturday Night Live, and we have Rusted Root. I mean, and a lot of great bands that have made it here in Pittsburgh, and I'm just naming a few. I'm friends with the band Bon Journey. They play, they're a cover band, but I tell you what, they play one heck of a show. They play Bon Jovi and Journey tunes, and we have a lot of good cover bands here too as well that play a lot of really good stuff. And Pittsburgh is very impressive when it comes to its music. And you're right, everybody puts their heart and soul into their music. It's not just
yeah,
it's not just about making money either. It's about performing an art. And sometimes you might not make a lot of money doing what you're doing as far as the art, as far as an art goes, like music, okay. But at least if you're going to make money, at least you have some kind of heart and soul into it. And I interview wrestlers on my wrestling show, and the local wrestler said to me, if you don't have it in you to wrestle, you might as well not even be in the business. If you're just in it for
yeah,
money, you might as well forget about it. Because
yeah,
it's just like anything else. Like here now, if I was going to try to do this, what I'm doing here for the money, I'd be in trouble. I'm doing this because I like doing this. I like doing my shows here on my YouTube channel and across social media and everything else. And I love doing it. It's expanding and it's getting better. And I'm happy with it. Sooner or later, maybe I'll make some money down the road. But right now, I'm just enjoying and having fun doing what I'm doing.
yeah. I hear you. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Another person that I've played with for the last 5 years is Elias Corey.
Oh, yeah, I've heard
Um,
of. Yeah. Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard of.
yeah, Elias Corey. He's Elias. I love playing with Elias. It's similar to Kenny. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have the song, like you pick out the songs, whatever, and then like with Kenny, same thing with Elias. we start the song, we don't know where it's going to go,
Right.
and they, Elias and Kenny let the whole band do whatever we want to do.
Right.
Just play your butt off, jam, and that way they can do their thing. And but Elias has never ever, like Kenny, has never ever came up and said, "Oh, you know what? That was a little too fast, or that was a little too slow, or maybe we should." It's like no. Even when we played in front of 10,000 people at South Park Amphitheater, 10 minutes before we went on the stage, the
Right.
keyboardist Craig Davis asked about a set list, and Kidney said we don't have one. We just play it by ear. Like like we do every place. It's like why have the set list here? We didn't have one at the Duquesne Club or at Joey's or at Export. Why didn't they? And the show went off without a hitch.
Right. Right.
So there was, like I said, but there's no. I don't really care much for people that say, "Oh, that's too fast" or "That's too slow." It's like, look, just play the song, and because you're not going to play at the same exact tempo every single time. If you do, it's going to get very boring because you're playing in the same city in front of pretty much the same audiences. So it's do the same thing the same kind of way every single time. It can get kind of tired.
Oh, exactly.
Everybody.
Hey, Kay, tell the audience about you teach drums over at pianos and stuff in Blownox. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going good. I started teaching in stuff music in 2015.
Right.
And let me say quickly, everybody in stuff music are phenomenal. They really are. They're top professional. They know what they're doing. They're very easygoing, very funny. Sometimes we get together and hang out after work, and sometimes, but they're great. So I taught there pretty much full time. I think I had like 30 students there.
Oh,
And I was
great.
also teaching at the same time. I was teaching at School of Rock in Wexford and Castle Shannon.
Oh,
and so
okay.
Yeah. In 2019, had a tragedy happen, so I quit everything pretty much. And I mentioned I was also working at KDKA in 2019, temping, and I was going to go permanent. But anyway, last year I started kind of getting back out again, and
that's
Bob,
great.
the owner, Bob,
That's
thanks.
super.
Bob, the owner in Stuff Music, he asked me if I was still teaching, would I want to come back and teach. I said sure. Maybe talk to Jim, the director, and so I teach there Wednesdays and Thursdays. A few students. First, matter of fact, there's a performance in Stuff Music is coming Saturday with the students.
Oh,
so I
great.
think there's about 30 or 40 students will be performing.
Okay, super.
Yeah, but it's going great there. I love working with the students. As a matter of fact, last night, one of my students, Teddy, he had a performance at the Shadyside Academy and
great,
Performing Arts Center, so I went to that performance, which is great. But I love teaching there. I love the students and the parents and the staff. Like I said,
It's great to see your students doing things like that because my friend Greg Himmelstein owns a singing school in Los Angeles. Okay, and he's been there since 2000, and he opened up his school. And since then, he's had many of his students have been on America's Got Talent or the mic or whatever they call those shows. Some of those shows. Some of his students have been on there, and they've ended up rating up in the top 1, 2, and 3. So,
wow.
It's a great thing for him, and I'm glad to see things like that are working for you as well. That students are moving on and doing performing, and that's great. I mean, and you do a great service for the kids when you are students, when you teach them that kind of thing, and that's a great skill to have. I took up drums when I was in high school. I played a little bit, but I never played, in the band, or I never was in a school marching band or anything like that. But I did take drums for a couple years. I always thought it was just simply sitting there and banging on it. That's making it music. I didn't know there was like all this music involved and reading notes and things like that. I looked at it like, oh, well, if that guy can do it like that, I can do it like that. It's just, So hey, I have to ask you this question as a drummer. Who's some of your favorite drummers right now, either deceased or currently drumming?
Deceased Buddy Rich, of course.
Okay.
Currently drumming Dennis Chambers, Vinny Colaiuta, Don Brewer.
Mm-hmm.
Don Brewer is the former drummer for Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh, yeah.
Then,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Vinny, I've seen him with Sting.
Mm-hmm.
He was with Sting for a while, and he sort of like what's his name? I can't think of his name.
If it's the Police's drummer, you're talking Stuart Copeland.
No, not Stewart.
Okay.
Frank Zappa. Vinny plays with Frank Zappa also.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Dennis Chambers has played with everyone from Parliament Funkadelic to Santana. Yeah, a bunch of people. Dennis is phenomenal. But those are some of my favorites that I really like a lot.
Okay.
Also, I want to mention real quick about I also played with Kia Michaels.
Oh, yes.
A lot.
I know Kia Michaels, yes.
Yeah. I love playing with her. And I was trying to, because I hate to forget about people. They how come they miss Michael Vick. Michael is a spoken word artist that I've written some music for his spoken word.
Right.
And so I do some writing and producing. Sometimes, because I have a studio down here in my basement.
Great. Great.
Yeah. But anyway, now the drummers here I like, of course, Roger Humphreys.
Right.
Tom Went is so smooth. He's like something else. I like his voice wears his work jacket. James Jameson.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of his name, yes.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. Poogie Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Garner. Yeah, he also plays with Kenny Blake.
Okay.
But yeah, Dennis is he's a monster. He's a monster.
That's great.
Yeah, there's a bunch of others, but those are some that just come to mind right now.
Oh, that's fine. I was just curious to who some of your favorite drummers were. I know two of them. I can name one of them's deceased, Neil Peart from Rush. I thought he was a great drummer, and I also thought that I also went to Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, who also drums for Asia, and he has his own little band too. And I think those two guys were probably some of the better drummers. And Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son from Led Zeppelin, yeah, he's a good drummer. I've been to a few of his shows, the Led Zeppelin Experience, and it's a pretty decent show. So,
did you ever see Rush in concert?
I've seen Rush many times, probably 12 times in my life, all over the place in Pittsburgh. Yeah, either at the arena. I've seen them at Console, and that was the first rock show at Console, and I was there for it at Console Energy Center. So yeah.
Nice.
So I was there for that, and then I saw them at Star Lake a few times, and many times down at either PPG Paints or at the arena. So I've been to many of their shows, and I tell you what, their shows are great. It's just too bad that Neil Peart passed, and they're trying to find. I keep hearing stories they want to get back together, but I don't think they're going to. They don't want to get back together without the original lineup. They were looking at that woman drummer who drummed for Motley Crue when Tommy Lee was in prison. They were looking at her, and they were looking at a couple other people, but they haven't come up with anybody yet. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen. But Geddy Lee's been doing some solo stuff and working with, like Yes and groups like that. He was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Rush got inducted at the same time that Yes did, and they played together, and that was nice. Did you see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from this year, Kay? It's very good. It's on HBO if you have HBO, or you can check it out on YouTube. I tell you what, it was great this year. Judas Priest, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, and a few other. The one from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Jazzy Javman of Fresh Prince. He got inducted. Trying to think of who else. There was a few others. Oh, Duran. It was a great, as always, a great ceremony. So
I don't watch award shows or induction shows too much. A lot of people I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame people,
right?
Because they're older. But award shows, I don't. Really
I don't check out like the Grammys or none. I don't watch none of that, or the American Music Awards or none of that. But I do watch the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. you mentioned Judas Priest, because in LA, there's a few people that I did get called by,
Mm-hmm.
and like people from Mr. Let's see, a jam with Jose Feliciano, which is great, at Roxbury. But one morning, I got a call from I forget his name, guitarist from Judas Priest,
Right.
and he said that he heard about me, and they would have talked to me about possibly playing with them. But when you said Judas Priest, I knew it wouldn't work out, because I'm not don't live that lifestyle. It seems like they do, which is cool.
Right.
But we talked for 5 minutes, and that was it.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I got called to see possibly available to tour with Suicidal Tendencies, because
Oh, okay.
Rob Trujillo, the bassist for Metallica, we go way back to the early '80s playing together.
Right.
And then he started the Suicidal group. They were going to do a tour, European tour, opening up for Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, okay.
And they were
Ozzy's still going, man. He just just put out a new CD. I thought he was going to be done. He was having some Parkinson's issues or some issues or something. Had to cancel some tours. He was sick. He had COVID, all kinds of problems, and then all of a sudden he came back. He has a new CD out, and he redid the song "War Pigs" by Black Sabbath. He did it. I guess it got digitally remastered and put on his new CD. So but I've seen the original Black Sabbath in concert. I got to see them one year in the early 2000s out at Star Lake. So I thought that was a really good show. And
also, my experiences here. Joe Connor over at Insta, and plus he plays with Pitch Black, great group. He turned me on to Mia Donati. He's called Mia D, because she was on American Idol some years ago, and so he recommended me to be her drummer. We talked, Mia and I did. Very, very, very sweet lady. She's very humble, very spiritual. Had a couple of rehearsals.
That's great.
But the performance got canceled, so far that's been it. But I would hopefully she will continue. Hopefully everything works out really, really well for her. She has a phenomenal voice.
Oh, I used to be a Christian DJ here back in the late 80s, early 90s. I used to play Christian rock music, and it was there were a couple good bands here. One of them was called Sanction, and the other one was called Tempered Steel. And I used to when they would come to town or when they would do their shows, I would MC the shows for the station or announce them coming in. And it was a great thing back in the day when I was doing that. I enjoy that as well. So so it was great. I got to play music from the band Petra and some other bands. Christian music is great. I mean, I like Chris Tomlin. I like some of the songs from him. And some of these other bands are pretty decent, but I'm more the old school. The late Rich Mullins, "Awesome God's" a great song. Sandy Patty, some of these other Christian musicians that set the bar for the current ones. I like them a lot, and it's great. Kay, I want to thank you for being part of the show today. This is Ralph Williams One-on-One, everybody. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Take a look at the ticket tape below your screen there, and you'll see that there. By phone was my guest, Kay Ballard. Kay, thank you for being on the show and sharing that with us. And you have yourself a great day. God bless you, and I'll talk with you later. Thank you.
Okay, Ralph, you take it easy, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Kay Ballard, local drummer. Plays for Kenny Blake and many others. Also played in Los Angeles. You can watch this on the archive version on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Look on my Twitter page as well. I'm on Twitter now on that platform. We're on 4 platforms. Just some quick announcements. Don't forget tomorrow at 5 p.m. Sports Corner, the TV version. My guest Jim Wexel as well will be on tomorrow. The one we did with Smoking Jim and I did with Jim Wexel will be on at 5 p.m. tomorrow, along with Steel City Sports World Boxing Authorities. Check the local listings and see what time they'll be on, but we're all on together. Big sports buffet for you tomorrow on PCTV, Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable, Allegheny County. outside Allegheny County. You can check it out on PCTV's Facebook page as well, anytime you want. Also, don't forget Sunday, 7 p.m., The Way I See It, no Monday show. I have a prior obligation, so I'll see you Sunday, 7 p.m. Lots to talk about. I got some great blasts and a whole lot more coming up. Whether you hear my life story about this slummy apartment building that a friend of mine was living in, and I had to put my friend up here with me because of this slummy apartment building that she was living in. And so I'll tell you about that as well, and a whole lot more coming up Sunday, 7 p.m., YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Call your friend, call your cousin, call somebody, but get them here and get them ready for The Way I See It. I'm Ralph Williams. It's a pleasure being here this afternoon, and I want to thank my guest, Kay Ballard. Have a great day and be safe.